Welcome everybody to How to Become a Money Expert, the right riches for you way. Woo!
Money expert. I like it that we call this a money expert because
Like,
people seem
yeah.
to have resistance to being an expert. But what if it was fun to be an expert because there's so many things you can learn and explore and find out. And I think that's how I would like to kick that off. How much of all this money world have you just not yet explored? Um, and because you think it's too difficult. What if it was easy? What if it was fun? And what if it was joyful to educate yourself and go out and make some money? At least for me, it's fun. And at least I have these joyful moments when I educate myself around money. Not from the point of view I have to be an expert. Um, I think I allow myself to include the expertise of others and my own, and then still find out what works for me. Um, how did you educate yourself about money, Shannon? What's your do you have a daily routine? Do you have you educate yourself about money? So what's your how do you include the education about money in your daily life and living?
Well, one of the things that I have come to recognize is somewhat unique about myself and you and some of our other Right Riches colleagues is that we actually have an interest in money, which is slightly different than being in, like, if you have an interest, then you can become an expert. But if you have no interest in money, then educating yourself about money can seem irrelevant.
Mhm.
So I think that's probably like where I would love to start this conversation because I know, it's like a lot of people come to Right Riches to handle a money problem, or, money courses and money classes and money stuff are hugely popular, but so much of the time it comes from the place of needing to solve the pain of money, which I get and which we get. And that is one way of looking at it. But once you get past the pain and the clearing the copious mountains of shit that you've bought about money from other people, then you then becomes the possibility of actually like participating with money, cooperating with money, and learning about money. But there has to be that interest there. And I'm not sure that interest, like, what do you think about this, David? Like, can
Well,
interest, yeah.
yeah, is interest something that you can learn, that you can develop?
Mhm.
My point of view is I think that people are genuinely interested in money because money is a money was added to the way mankind creates later on. Okay, we look at the history of money, people trading, art, creativity, all of that is always there. That's part of our nature, and everybody who loves to be creative has, my point of view is they have that natural interest in money. They just haven't um, they just haven't. I think it's so covered up by all the lies and all the negative patterns and all this hard working. Money has been turned into this uh, dominant energy on the world. I mean, if you look at this, at the energy of money, the way it was invented by mankind, if money had its own being, that being would be, how can I make your life easier? How can I contribute to your creativity? How can I help you? That's
Wow.
the natural inherent energy of money. And look
Really,
at what
really beautiful. I just want to pause for a second because you just said something super cool that I've never heard you say before. If money had its own being. Like if money was a person you knew, but even better than that, like a being, right? So less identification, less definition, less personality, more being. If money was a being, what would it be expressing? That was really cool. That was a cool perspective.
and that being was brought into life for a certain purpose. Okay, money doesn't derive from nature. It was created by mankind, and the only purpose of money was to make trading easier, to contribute to the growth of your business, of the trading, of the beauty, of the art, of the creativity. For me, money is this it's this ongoing contribution to whatever you decide to have in your life, create, do, and be. Um, Support. It's a very supportive energy, a very supportive, contributing being.
So how did you get it? So let's talk a little bit about, I'm really curious because I would imagine a lot of people listening to this or who will be listening to this might hear you say money is a very supportive, contributive energy. And I would imagine that many people can relate to money being the opposite of that in their lives. So what creates the difference?
Well, it's the point of view. What mankind has turned money into. Okay, money was heavily abused, especially since the Industrial Revolution, when money then became part of a linear timestamp. Okay, I pay you this per the hour, and that's all you get. So the energy was literally diverted from its natural being. And if we want to include money, the natural being of money in our lives, we need to talk to the money the way
Mm.
it is, so it can actually hear you. I mean, I recently brought that up in the class when I said, if I call you Sabrina, you won't pay attention because your name is Shannon. So if you are not being the inherent congruent energy that money truly is, how would you ever expect to get its attention?
Can you
So
give an example of how you would talk to money as it truly is, or how you do that, or be that, or what is that in your world?
in my world, I mean, there are one thing that needs to be clear. Okay, we need money to pay our bills. Okay, money is part of the ecosystem of the economy. Money is required, and a lot of times money is not there yet. So if you need to pay something, if you want to buy something, you don't have the money. If you would like to invite that being money to contribute, you don't go into, I don't have the money, I cannot afford it, this is so expensive. This is not inviting. You go into, wow, cool.
Mm,
How can I create the money? How can I invite money? What else is possible here? How can I start? How can I get to work? This
mm.
excitement, wow, there is a bill to pay. That means I need to create $50,000. Wow, that's a beautiful challenge.
And I
You
just
know,
would love to make an indication here in this way that you're indicating about inviting money, asking money, talking to money, just the difference in your attitude is a massive key that I believe many people gravely overlook when it comes to money. So with Right Riches for You, we began by clearing like the universes of lies around money that you've bought, because how much misinformation have you been exposed to about money, and have you made any of it real and true? And then the intermediate is about really getting into the creative stance. And if you guys just noticed what David just did, he gave a great example of a creative stance. You can either be in the anti-creative stance of money, which is, oh man, I need the money and money's hard to get. And I hate that I have to get money for this, or money's difficult, et cetera, et cetera. And then the stance he took of, ooh, cool, I get to create the money for this, is a essential distinction that we have to own our influence on how money shows up in our lives. And that can be so easily overlooked in favor of the structures of what we think is real and true about money that is absolutely not real and true about money.
that's what I so love about the Red Riches program, especially in intermediate, where you literally, it's this call to action. Okay, and now you're free. Now you can choose whatever you desire, but now it's time to choose, to institute, and to create. And
Yeah.
here for me, these tools are gold because they're so joyful, and there are possibilities beyond belief that will open up once you allow yourself to actually look at that and have that and tap into that world of, wow, if I could have anything and everything, where would I start? What would I do? That really endless field of possibilities you can achieve if you function from that, what Shannon just said, that invitation to money to
Mm.
co-create your life with you as your call money partner in crime or whatever you want, but this is a co-creation and not something you need to achieve or fight against or resist. No, co-create your life and let money be your business partner.
And your life partner. I love that. And I want to really invite those of you guys that want to learn about money from David and I, because it's easy to, in the beginning, write Riches for You class. And if you haven't done the beginning yet, like, please check it out when it's time for you, if it's time for you. There's a whole manual, but a lot of it is like undoing a lot of the stuff you bought about money. In the intermediate, what I know David and I are, well, what we would like to get to is actually starting to talk about the how-tos with how to manage money. What do you actually do when you have money? Because believe it or not, there is also a lot of, there is stuff involved with having money that so many of us have never been educated about. So when you start having money, you can actually be inept in having money too, which might be preventative for many of you for actually getting to the point where you actually have to deal with what do you do when you have a lot of money? Because there are things that are required when you have a lot of money. But have you ever been taught them?
Well, yeah, it's about the administration of money. Okay, money is not money is real. Okay, money needs attention, and there is an administration behind the management of money. But that does not have to be complicated. That can
Right.
be super creative. That can be
Exactly.
really fun.
Exactly. 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 And David is brilliant in his way, and we've collaborated, and David has assisted me with managing my fortunes and diverting the river's path so that the money can become tax advantaged into the future with business structures and stuff that was so infinitely intimidating to me. And Right Riches Intermediate is not about business structures and tax advantage. Although if you come to the class and you're interested in it, we will absolutely talk about it. And it's like, were you ever educated on how to be wealthy?
It's that. And what you beautiful contributed to all of this, you never excluded consciousness and magic. I
Yeah.
had the point of view that once you come to a certain amount of money and certain administration, now you have to get real. Okay, now this is where the structure takes over. But you beautifully invited me. No, there's always space and time for magic and miracles. And it blew my mind to see how the combination, of the administration of money, of this reality, plus the magic and the joy and the glory of consciousness supporting it, can actually co-create something that I was blown away. So if you're willing to have both the magic and the pragmatics of having money, I
Yeah.
really enjoy this space, and this is why I'm so happy and also honored to share these tools with all of you, together with you, Shannon. We are very, very different from the way we live and look at life, but I think that difference is a beautiful combination, especially when it comes to the creation of money. So I'm very, very happy and excited to share everything we know together, so we can add everything we know and we experienced and contribute to each other, and hopefully to many more who come and join us for the next intermediate class.
So one of the things that had said to David before we started and I would love to, if we could now, if we have the space for it, I said to David, I said, hey, like, I'd love to learn from you in this live. Like David is both of us are very busy. We rarely have time to get together and really talk about stuff and like, hey, how's money going for you? And I thought, why don't we take this opportunity here in public to learn from each other? So David, what's your most recent cool awarenesses, freedoms, insights, transformations, inspirations with money?
The newest one is not holding on to anything and not being linear. Of course, we are in economic crisis. There's this worldwide depression going on, and a lot of things have changed obviously have slowed down. Everything that was on some kind of autopilot somehow stopped. And I was
Mhm.
really challenged in not going down that rabbit hole and going, oh, now I lost this, now this is going down. So I had to take this full stop and go, wait a minute, just because this is slowing down, just because this is going down, that doesn't mean that I cannot open up something new. And I literally had to learn also to somehow let go of things that I had counted on things that I had thought, okay, this is how it goes.
Conclusions about money.
All the conclusions but also this, I always put this high pressure on me that every investment I have and everything I do financially, at one day it has to end in a success. But what I did recently, no, there was this one company I had shares in, and I knew it would go up but it wasn't light. So I was like, you know what if I just call it a quit? And yes, it was a financial loss. But letting that go and freeing that energy. And the minute I did it, so many other opportunities
Mm,
I thought I have to hold on to because I have to max out the profit. Well, no, just hold on later. We'll sell it as soon as you at least break even. I was avoiding losses. And I noticed that avoiding losses created a limitation in my creativity. What if I could even have ease with loss? And you know what? Fuck it.
mm,
Get over
beautiful.
it, move on.
Right. And
um,
so can I share a little tool based on the avoiding losses thing that you just said? Because I would say one of the cornerstones or building blocks for how Right Riches for You tools have worked for me, and one of the things that I really try to facilitate really consistently with people is this question of, if you were an infinite being, would you lack? Could you lose? And so this whole thing about avoiding losses, it's like, what do you have to make real and true in order for the avoidance of a loss to be a reality? And you follow that thread of belief of that there is a limit or a lack or that you will lose, back to its genesis lies of money, and destroy and uncreate it. That is the transformation of reality. So your stance towards money is not, how do I not lose? It becomes, ooh, what else can I choose?
that's
And I just,
beautiful.
so much fun. That's the good stuff.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
So what's new in your world? What is your latest
Actually,
awareness of money?
it's sort of similar to yours in that, like, I had some conclusions about the way that like money was working in my life, not with a particular investment, but just sort of like in the business. And I hadn't even realized it, but I had kind of gone on autopilot about, yeah, like you said, autopilot. Actually, you did indicate that. I was like on autopilot with the business and how money was flowing until I noticed, and I don't know if you guys are listening to this right now, have noticed at all, or if you're listening to this in the future. Right now, we are early March 2023. We're sort of halfway through a global depression.
24,
Whether
we're in 24.
oh oh oh, maybe it was halfway a year ago, and now we're more in the tail end. What would it take? I'm dyslexic, by the way, so don't fixate on my numbers too much. But anyways, I had noticed that my income, the business income, was gradually going down. Finally, I paid attention to it towards the end of last year, and it was a huge wake-up call for me. And I got to work, and I used the Right Riches for You tools, which is my most favorite Right Riches question is, if money wasn't the problem, like, what is this? Because at first I went into, oh no, money's the problem, right? How am I going to run my business? How am I going to pay staff, et cetera, et cetera? None of which is a real question, all a conclusion that money's the problem. Okay. And then eventually I went, okay, so if this wasn't about money, like if this money wasn't the problem, what is showing up? And what I became very aware of was that I had come to conclusion about how to do things and how to be with money and where I was right and what worked, and I had literally stopped being the question, which is one of the primary mechanisms of consciousness, which is, being in the question, not the conclusion. I had stopped being in the question around money in a lot of ways. And I nipped that in the butt and I went right back to basics. And I mean, I was literally went back to square one where I started, when I was in my early 20s, digging myself out of a huge credit card debt. Although, I mean, I'm not in debt now, but I went back to the tools that I used then, which I presumed wouldn't be as effective 2 decades down the road, multi-million dollars into, creation. But guess what? They were absolutely effective. And one of those ones that I've re-added to my life again that has been working like a charm so easily, so it's so easy to discount it, is to literally say, I do it throughout the day, but a lot, I just say, money come, 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 money come. And that's, again, an example of a money stance. That's an invitation to money, not a desperation, not a neediness. So I'm grateful and shocked in equal measure.
That's so funny that you mentioned that, Shannon, because what I started doing when I had this first look at, getting this kind of losing energy, I went back to basics and I made that commitment to myself. Before I look at things now, before I freak out, I have to repeat, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and
Yeah,
glory 10
exactly.
times. So this is what I went back to. No, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory 10 times before I look at a thing again, before I start thinking, before I go on. I literally started, no, I'm not freaking out. I'm doing the all of life comes with ease, joy, and glory 10 times. And then let's see. Brilliant. It's magical. These basic tools are magic. So,
and we call them basic and we call them introductory because they are. You learn them in the beginning, you learn them right up front. But what I have recognized is that they are so much more advanced than I even had the perspective to recognize in the beginning. For I not coming to conclusion and really being in the question like that. I don't know what that sounds like when you first hear it, but when you really apply it, it opens up the door to literally infinite possibility. One of the things that I've also recognized recently is I had taken this reality's point of view that the only thing that was right about money is if I kept on having a gradual, definite increase in income. And is that a question or was that a conclusion I'd come to? It was definitely a conclusion I'd come to, while simultaneously knowing that money follows the pattern of the natural world and nature, in that it goes in cycles and waves, just like everything in nature. Unless you're around the equator, then you might not notice the season. But when you talk about nature, there's usually a huge amount of variability. And I wasn't looking at money. I wasn't permitting money to be an organic evolution in my universe of boom, bust, plague, flourish, death and growth. I had just decided that one particular trajectory meant I was right. Oof. And everywhere I decided I was right was killing the infinite possibilities. So that's been a really humbling and fortunate new awareness for me with money.
yeah. What I also finally allowed myself to add to all my money creations is to relax into it and to constantly, creating money, being with money, managing your money. It does include a lot of doing. I have most of my money in real estate projects where there is doing involved, but I learned to replace doing by relaxation and to truly trust my knowing that when something needs my attention, I will know, rather than me constantly kind of pushing it along in order to make sure I don't miss anything. And that was quite challenging for me to relax because I had the sensation I'm not doing enough, I'm lazy. So big big aha moment for myself to go, wait a minute, if I just relaxed, what would couldn't even go into what would occur. Then I would, just letting go of all of these expectations and conclusions and just go into relax and truly, really be that energy of relaxation, allow things to fold themselves together and trusting that things will ping you. That was huge for me.
And yeah, so like if you would like to learn how to apply these, I would actually call relaxation with money an advanced application in that being ignorant and avoiding of money is one thing, and that is not what David's talking about. David is not ignorant, nor is he avoiding, nor is he incapable. He's down the track quite a ways. And what would it take for money mastery to lead to the ease, joy, glory, and expansiveness of possibility rather than money leading to I'm right?
I got this. I am rich, therefore I'm right. End of the story.
And how many of your humanoids have been avoiding money because you're trying to avoid the conclusion that money could become or would you presume would become in your universe if you had money? And what if it doesn't really need to be that? It can actually be this accompaniment of infinite possibility in a way that allows everything that you choose to actualize in ways that you can't even imagine yet.
And don't even try to imagine. Allow the universe to surprise you. Life is way more fun with lots of surprises.
That's beautiful.
I'm so looking forward to facilitating this class with you, Shannon. I can already sense the explosion of abilities.
Yes.
Do we know when it is?
That's actually what I was just going to ask you. I'm on my husband's computer and I don't even know where the calendar is on this computer. So in case people want to come, let's give them a timeline here. Do you know when it is? Babe, do you?
We're not.
We're not the details people.
We're not listen, if you truly desire to find out.
26th of this month. It's beginning. So 26th of this month. The intermediate does have prerequisites. If you go to the event link, which, Rachel kindly posted. Thank you. Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Rachel kindly posted for us in one thread that I can see. I don't know where this is shared out in the universe, but anyways, all the details are there, you guys. And what would it take for money to no longer be the source of insanity that it has been, and for money to be the source of possibility that it can be, if you actually, choose it.
So we start on the 26th, prerequisites, beginning class. You need to read a few books, educate yourself, and then, let's see how we can change the world together. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. I'm looking forward to facilitating this class with you, Shannon. Thank you so much. And I think, is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners?
I think I just wanted to put something in like historical perspective. If you would like to do a consciousness around money class with a law attorney and a psychic medium simultaneously, this is your event.
Psychic medium. I love that.
What's my this reality label? I think maybe like a psychic medium, like a multi-million-dollar entity empire medium. That's more my this reality business model.
It sounds fun. It will be fun. I hope we see a few of you. Until then, enjoy you and enjoy money. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.